Hello guys, welcome to stage 52. Today we're going to be doing the cargo area floor. Now one of the things I've noticed about this build is that we build things and it gets really big, and then we work on something else, and as you can see we've been working on some quite manageable sized pieces, but today we're going to get this and it's going to get a lot bigger very quickly. Let's see how I got on. So hello guys, welcome to stage 52. This is the cargo area floor, and as always let's do a parts check. So we have this massive piece, cargo area floor. This is piece 52A. This is the only actual piece that we're going to get this issue. We're also going to get 3 packs of screws. We've got the DP screws, there we go, 2x6mm. There should be 5 in there, which there is. We get the LP screws, 2.3 by 4mm, and these are 2 plus 1 spare. And then we've got NP screws, which is 2.3 by 6mm, and there's 5 plus 2 spare. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got too many. Bonus. So now there has been some talk in the Facebook groups about this being the incorrect colour. Myself and Mark Mods has been looking up research pictures on the internet, and we can't find a really good shot of the inside other than a picture that says this suggests it's a very close match. If I knew what colour is the actual colour, then I could repaint this, but I'm not going to, because I think this is not too far off the research pictures that we found. So I'm going to go with this. If you think I'm wrong, by all means leave a comment and I will listen to you. Not a problem. Stage 1, fitting the driver's side workstation. Take the driver's side workstation that you were working on in phases 49 to 51, and that isn't it. That is it. No, that's the dashboard. Sorry. So this is the piece that we've been working on the last few issues. I really do like this. It's lovely. And set it on the front of the cargo area 52A. Turn these parts over, carefully holding the parts together, and secure them together with 4 DP screws. So let's get our DP screws ready. And 1, 2, 3, 4, got far too many there. So we only need the 4, and I need my screwdriver. Let's just check I've got the right bit in, because you know I go in with the wrong bit sometimes. So what we're going to do, the orientation in the magazine is actually this way around, and we're going to place it there. But I think it's going to be easier for me to work this way round. And this workstation, you'll see that there's got 4 screwdriver tabs, 4 screw tabs there, and we've got 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And all we're going to do is we're going to line these up like so. And I'm just struggling with this one here. It could just be the position I've got it in. Yeah, it's a very tight fit, but it will go. There we go, that's gone in fine. So can you see those lined up there? So we can do a little bit of a check. If we hold that down, we look at the seat, and we'll see that this bar does actually touch the floor, so we know, we can guess that that's probably correct. And then when it lifts up, it goes into that position and down. So this is going to be the tricky part, because we need to screw in from underneath. So we need to flip this upside down whilst keeping the screw on the screwdriver bit. So let's see what we can do. So once we get a couple of screws in, and there I can see that the screwdriver holes are all the way in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the two easy ones first, which is going to be this one first, these two. Those two will make it easier, and then once I've got the first couple of screws in, it should pretty much hold itself in enough for us to finish it off. So in fact, actually even better idea, let's turn it upside down and it will hold itself in. So let's pop the first screw in, see how we get on, and as always, do you know what, I'm going to place that screw in. There we go. So that screw is going to go in just enough to bite, and then I'm going to place this second one in there. Little bit fiddly for some reason. Right, so now we've got our first two screws in. You can see it's pretty much holding itself in. So we can then just see if the screwdriver, right, that's fine. So what we'll do now is we'll pop this screw in. Again, just enough to bite. Here's our third screw in, and then we can start driving them in all the way. Now, I do remember that I had a bit of an issue in the last part, and that was that the screws threaded very easy. I didn't thread any screws, but I felt like it was going to. Now as I'm screwing this in, I can feel the workstation being pulled in. That is the job of a screw. It pulls the part in, and I can feel it just coming in. So there we go. I've just done that until there's resistance, so we'll have a look. Yeah, that's a bit loose. That's what I expected. So what we'll then do is we will work on these screws again, just tightening them up about half a screw each, half a turn. I really am scared of stripping these threads because of the last part. So let's see how that one goes. That's ever so slightly loose. I'm wondering whether to go with it. Yeah, that's quite loose. So you will notice this looks filthy. It's actually not. It's overspray from this grey. Grey is a terrible colour when it comes to painting, because it does actually cover black rather well. But thankfully this is all going to be hidden. Right, I'm not tightening those much. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Let's look for any. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so that's step one complete. Now we want to do step two, which is attaching the inner floor parts, and we need to place the cargo area floor so that the front edge overlaps the end of the front inner floor 44A. Now this is part 44A. If you remember, we've got these beautiful seats. I really do like these, and obviously these move, and we've got the floor mats, and what's going to happen is that this is going to go onto there, and let me just have a look. Right, yeah, okay, that is really good. So you've got holes there, and then you've got holes there. These will actually slip into the holes, so it's a real positive connection. However, the problem I've got now is that because of the height of this, it wants to naturally fall down. So I'm going to find something, maybe my packet of biscuits. Absolutely perfect. So we're resting this on something so it doesn't fall down so much. Now we have a complicated array of screws. We have a mix of LPs and NP screws, so we really need to look at where we're putting them. And what I'm going to do, there's only 2 LP screws, so I think it's going to be easier. We'll locate all of the screw holes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there should be 2 LPs and 5 NPs. So I think it's going to be easier if we just put the 2 LP screws in first, and then whatever's left over must be the NPs, if that makes sense. So the LPs are going on these 2 tabs there. So let's pop some of those in, and we'll pop one in there, and as always we're only doing it enough just to bite. Again, if we make a mistake because we're only putting them in just enough to bite, then we'll get them out easily. So there we go, that's attached just enough, not very well, but it's attached. And then we will work on the NP screws. Now I'm going to work from the opposite end for the NP screws. So we have 2 here, and we'll just pop those in. Hold the bottom when you put the screws in, because it does, the force of the screwdriver does want to make it bend. And then we have another one here. You know, for the purposes of YouTube, it's a shame these screws aren't brightly coloured, and then it would identify to you where they are. So the next one is going to be just a single one there, and that's going to go in like so, and 2 more NP screws. So we have one there just in front of the LP screw that we put in earlier, and my screws decide to go for a run. Right, let's put this in by hand. There we go. That'll be a lot easier, won't it? So NP in just enough to bite, and then the final NP, and it kind of all makes sense. Because what we've ended up with is a row of NP screws, a couple of LP screws, but we have got this one here which is an anomaly, and that's the NP screw. So these are only enough just to bite, but this is what we've now ended up with. So what I'll do now is I'll turn this on the side, and I'll just tighten these screws up. And what I think I'll do is I'll do these 2 end ones. There we go. And then I'll do, yeah, that one's just threaded. So be very careful, guys. I think, like most part works, they are overdoing the screws a little bit. We'd probably get away with 4 screws for this, but they've given us a total of 7. So, and it's actually that LP one's tried to go as well. So I think maybe the LP screws are a problem. But the NP ones are going in really tight, so I suspect that the thread is a little bit more coarse on the NP screws, so they're cutting and holding really well. I feel the NPs, I can screw them in as tight as I want. Let me just have a double check. If the LPs and the NPs are the same width, which they are, I'm going to do something very naughty. I'm going to remove this LP screw, which is kind of threaded. Let's see what happens if I put an NP screw in. This is a little bit longer, but it should theoretically be the same screw. That doesn't want to go. This might not work, guys. This is an experiment. That's not going to go. Okay, that was my bad, but it's always worth trying, isn't it? So as you can see, guys, what's happened is, can you see how that's threaded? It just, the LPs, just be really careful. I've overdone this, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 MP screws in, and that's actually solid. I'm really happy with that. Don't worry anyway, because obviously be careful, try not lift this by both hands, But this is all going to get bolted onto the chassis at some point anyway. Once it's bolted into the chassis, it'll be absolutely fine. But in the meantime, we do need to be a bit careful. So that is actually stage complete. So next week we are working on stage 53, which is the simulation switch control panel and oscilloscope. And I really hope you will join me then. So take care, guys. Bye bye. And I don't know how high I can lift my camera up. Oh!